mic over, Chris.
Oh yeah.
3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the apartments. I got the original crew with me. If you don't know them, you finna know them again. I got Taj, yes sir, and I got Chris with a K. Get used to seeing their faces. They've been in a couple of videos now. You gotta come on now. Yeah, they OGs. All right, so today on this nice, lovely Tuesday, we got a little. You forgot today was Tuesday?
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Wow. We just started. But we got a little beef going on, a little commotion going on Twitter between.
I wouldn't say beef. I would say
Okay.
probably a misunderstanding.
We gonna see. We got Katie and we got Uncle himself, Stanley Sharp. They got Twitter on Twitter. A video came up and Stanley Sharp, I'm gonna say Sharp said Stanley. Sharp said that Katie said he was better than LeBron because he beat LeBron in the finals and he took the shot on LeBron in the finals. So Katie retweeted the tweet and he said Uncle's lying. I never said that. And we know Katie could be sensitive sometimes, whatever. But then it kind of got more into it. Sharp ended up blocking him. How y'all feel about it? I know, Chris, you was reading the tweets or whatever. If you put them back up for Taj and us can read them again. But how y'all feel about it? Do y'all think Katie took the wrong approach? Mind you, he's just coming off another incident on Instagram with Ian Rappaport. So how you feel about it?
I feel like even if the things were said, if it was a fake account, whatever was said, I feel like that situation as a whole, being two impactful people as they are, Katie on the athlete side and Shannon Sharp as like the veteran, like retired, like sports analyst side, I feel like they could have handled that situation a whole lot better than they did. I don't think that necessarily should have went to social media, but it's kind of how things are nowadays. But yeah, even if it was true or not, I feel like that situation as a whole should have been handled better. But
I'm gonna go ahead.
I feel like two parties just very misunderstood. I feel like everything was, it's for the media. Everything's going to get taken out of context. For the fans, like, oh, retweet this, repost this, you know what I'm saying? Get the back and forth. Oh, I'm on Shannon Sharp's side. Oh, I'm on KD's side. I mean, it's the part of the game. I feel like both parties just misunderstood. Maybe Shannon Sharp took what KD said out of context, misinterpreted what he said. I feel like probably KD took what Shannon Sharp said out of context and misinterpreted what he said. But it's just a whole big misunderstanding, in my personal opinion.
It's crazy, Chris. You said that it shouldn't have been in the media. And KD, he retweeted. Shannon Sharp agree with you, Shannon. He said the same thing, like, listen here, if you have an issue, DM me, talk to it private. Yeah. But KD was like, you said on public TV. So you made it. You made it.
Yeah, you made it. You made it.
So KD's like, you made it. So he's like, I'm just retaliating. How you retaliated? And it's crazy because it's like, do y'all feel some type of way when athletes do throw their feedback? Do y'all feel like athletes should just be like, keep it pushing? Because KD not the only athlete that had feedback with reporters. I think Westbrook had feedback with Stephen A. one time. So how y'all feel about that when athletes do kind of retaliate or say what they got to say right back? What y'all think is fair game?
I feel like it is fair game. I feel like if you have the goal to go on national television and talk about my game, what I do for a living, my profession, I have every right to defend myself in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, they're just words. Like they're just words.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna put my hands on you, and you come to me, put your hands on me. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just words. It's for entertainment.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
For the way I look at this, I feel like athletes have every right to defend themselves if they're being talked upon in a bad way or any of that rumors being spread. Yes. From listening to the video of Shannon Sharp talking about it, he's seen a tweet that may or may have not been from him. It may have been a fake tweet, whatever. And he talked about that tweet. And as a sports analyst and in the field he's in, that's what they do. They talk about what's being talked about nowadays, and they bring it on the show. At the end of the day, they're trying to get viewers, and they're trying to please the viewers. Their viewers are seeing these tweets, so they're going to want to talk about these tweets. Mm-hmm. So I understand KD wanting to clear the air and, defend himself. Mm-hmm. But, KD's first tweet to the post was, "Y'all drunk uncle out here lying again. When did I say this?" And this tweet just sitting here implying, that Shannon Sharp's a liar and all this good jazz about that. Y'all just drunk uncle. At the end of the day, Shannon Sharp's doing his job. You know what I mean? Whether you like it or not, he's doing your job. Stephen A. Smith does the same thing. People have their opinions about Stephen A. Smith. He's outrageous. He's energetic. He loves the game. And he says some stuff that might be borderline sometimes. But at the end of the day, he's making the big bucks, and there's a reason why he's making the big bucks is because he does these things. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why Shannon Sharp is still relevant to this day, being a NFL player, and now being a sports analyst on every sport pretty much. There's a reason why he's still relevant, and it's doing things like this. So I don't blame KD for wanting to defend himself, but I do blame him on the way he did it, if that makes sense.
Okay. You've been an athlete. I know you kind of small school, but when you do get the criticism, how do you do it? You just kind of knock it off, or do you pull a KD and you speak your mind?
At the end of the day, if it's coming from media or anything like that, you just kind of have to brush it off, because at least in my situation right now, if I was to retaliate and express how I felt to a media source, whether it was in a nice way or in a bad way, mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I'm reflecting the university, because, that's who I play for. I play for Averett, and me retaliating, I'm a player, and if I respond like this is how I reflect the university, correct? So, I most of the times I try to, I brush things off. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, the critics, it doesn't matter. The media, it doesn't matter. What they say, it doesn't matter. All that matters is what your coach says at the end of the day, because, that's who's telling you whether or not you're playing or not. None of these people are paying you. With D3, none of us are getting paid. Mm-hmm. So the only thing that matters is what the coach has to say. So if what my coach is saying is not adding up to what the media is saying, I'm just, brushing it off.
All right. Us being fans, do y'all think we got too much power? It's I know it's freedom of speech, whatever. But do y'all think we take advantage, or we got too much power when it comes to us criticizing an athlete that does this at a legit level?
I feel like at the end of the day, it's a part of the game. Criticism comes with the game. I know every athlete, when they're growing up, watching their favorite player, they know that their favorite player, like Michael Jordan or Tom Brady and stuff, had to go through that. They had to go through the criticism. Yeah. And being in that light, it comes with the territory. Like the money, the women, groupies, the partying, the excessive cars, the amounts of jewelry, the fashion, the houses. It comes with the game. So if you can buy all the fancy cars, wear the jewelry, look the part, you should be able to take the criticism from the media, fans, everywhere you go, because it's going to happen. People in this day and age and in life in general are not going to like you off rip. They're not. Whether you're famous or not, they're not going to like you. So everyone's going to have their opinion about you. So you can defend what you're trying to say, but at the end of the day, people will always go misinterpret what you're saying. So at the end of the day, I'm gonna leave it like this: you will always be a villain in someone's story, whether it's yours, your mom's, dad's, best friend, cousin. girl that live down the street next door, they'll always find some type of way to hate on you, find an opinion about you that you might not like. But hey, if you know it ain't true, why retaliate? If you know it ain't true, why retaliate?
Oh no, me being a fan, I ain't gonna lie. Me being a fan, I done definitely talked down on a couple players. Sometimes the numbers don't lie though. Sometimes the numbers don't lie.
But,
like for me, I ain't gonna lie. It was hard for me to actually look up to Baker Mayfield. Like on one thing I love, like Baker gonna be a free agent. Baker's gonna be out of Cleveland. I was not a Baker Maker fan. He proved me wrong, like you said. But I feel like as an athlete, you can't feed into it, but at the same time, I feel like some fans do go overboard and say some wild stuff. Like Stephen A. You say he was doing his job, but he said Russell Westbrook's career doesn't matter because he don't have no championship. You gotta understand, this man is a triple-double legend. Like that, he's going down
Like, man,
in a career.
like at the end of the
MVP.
day, like, no, for real. Like, at the end of the day, it's some stuff of basketball legends that don't have rings. They don't have rings. Charles Barkley will probably go down as one of the greatest power forwards ever. He doesn't have a ring. He doesn't. Steve Nash, he doesn't have a ring. Karl Malone, he doesn't have a ring.
What you finna say, Chris?
I have two things.
Okay.
One, to go back to what you're saying as like a fan and like saying things. I feel like as a fan, that's one way we cope with not being on that level or not being exactly in that picture is we talk about players, whether it's good or bad,
Or indifferent.
you know, criticizing, all that good jazz. It's a way fans relate to players in a way that they can't on the field or in a program.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like criticism is only a source of like, you look at criticism as like, okay, I made it. If people care enough to criticize you, they care enough to know your name, and you're relevant enough for people to know your name. So that's the way people should take it. Yes, it gets out of hand sometimes, but at the end of the day, if people care enough to criticize you, you've made it in life, first off.
No.
And then second off, what Stephen A. Smith is not correct. You know, his career does matter. Now, I will say, I feel like what Stephen A. Smith was trying to get at was at the end goal in any sport you play. I don't care what it is. It's not numbers, not how many points you can drop in the season. It's getting that ring and winning a championship for your team. Now, what Stephen A. Smith said could have been worded different. I agree. But, you know, the fact that he doesn't have any rings, essentially, you know, his career hasn't made that big of an impact in the league because he hasn't shooken up, you know, the rings or finals or anything like that. Not saying he's not a good player and what he does doesn't matter. It's just a sense of when we're talking big picture, you know, he doesn't have that impact as some other people. And, you know, when you talk about, you know, Bill Russell, those type of guys, you know, people are saying he's the GOAT of all time. You know, you wouldn't say he's a GOAT over, you know, MJ or like LeBron, you know, these guys in the sense of like basketball skill and like just pure raw talent. But you will say he's a GOAT in the sense that he gets it done. You can't argue with the fact that he has
11 rings.
11 rings. You know what I mean? You know, he might not be the best player of all time, but, you know, he has that factor to get it done. So you can't argue with the fact of people saying that he's the greatest of all time because he managed to get to that final stage that everybody tries to get to every year, year in and year out, and he's done it 11 times and succeeded 11 times.
So let me ask you this question. Would you rather be the greatest at your position, or would you rather have a ring? If football came to an end, you played the pros, would you rather be the best offensive tackle that ever stepped on a football field, or would you be satisfied with like, okay, I got a ring, I played on a good team, okay, what would you rather take?
If we're talking the basis of a career, you know, obviously, you know, I want to be the best of all time, you know, best tackle in the league. But, like, I feel like it's one of those things that it switches up, you know. If you aren't guaranteed, you know, like in my situation, I'm not guaranteed a full lengthy 12, 13 season, you know, career. You know, offensive line, you're never guaranteed anything because your bodies get the most, you know, torque and misuse out of everybody. But
in the trenches.
You know, if I'm talking about would I rather have a decent career, make my money, and win a ring with a team, win a Super Bowl, or risk, you know, I could be the best tackle of all time, but, you know, I can only play, you know, 5-6 years. I'd rather in that 5 or 6 year span be decent, make that money, and get a ring than just be the best tackle in the league for 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is where KD's coming from because a lot of people would make that argument that KD's the best player in the league.
Gotcha.
And best offensive player, you can't guard him. You can make that argument.
I say
he's the best scorer.
But you know,
the best scorer in the league.
The best scorer overall.
I'm gonna go home. What's up? Speak your mind, dog.
Let me finish my statement and we can
go ahead.
But I feel like KD could it would have been easy for KD to say, you know what, I'm gonna settle, you know, in Oklahoma City with Russell Westbrook and, you know, have that chance maybe, you know, to get a ring but not make it quite there, but still be known as that guy or one of the best small forwards to ever play. But, you know, that not willingness, but like that unsettled feeling that he had, you know, playing and not being able to get to that final stage, you know, got to him that it was just he couldn't bear it no more. He had to leave. And, you know, people might not agree with his decision, but he left to go to Golden State, the team that beat him the year prior. You know, people might say that's, you know, a snake move, you know, a pussy move. But, like, at the end of the day, he left, he made it work, and he was the MVP. So,
all right. Before we change topics and talk about scores and all that, so Chris, you feel like KD, he kind of set aside. He was like, okay, I'd rather have a ring than build his legacy at OKC. Because pretty much that's what Westbrook did. Westbrook, he built his legacy at OKC. He didn't go nowhere. He tried to go to Houston. That didn't work. So I understand where you're coming from. Maybe it depends on the player. KD said, I'm chasing a ring, and Westbrook said, I'm gonna create my legacy. I think it just depends on the player, though. So I definitely agree with you. But now we get into the scoring. The scores, I would say the top scores. My top scores, I'm gonna say not all the time, but who we have seen: Stephen Curry, James Harden, KD. I'm gonna say LeBron might be at 4. LeBron might be at 4. LeBron can score.
he could score, but are we putting him in the top 5 scorers?
I'm not putting LeBron up there.
As a scorer?
No.
Where's
A lot of
all-time list right now?
I don't got a list. Somebody put the list.
Are you putting Kareem up there too?
Oh, I just said right now. Like, I'm talking about.
You're talking about right now.
Like what we saw.
Now, okay, I can agree with you putting him top 5. But overall, no, he's not.
No. I would definitely.
I'd make an argument for Shaq before I make an argument for LeBron in top 5 scoring.
We done got the stats in. We done got a man. LeBron.
He's third.
He's third. Yep.
And his best attribute's not even scoring. He's going to be number 1 all-time scorer. Best attribute's passing.
For his best attribute is passing.
Yeah.
It is.
But
That's the goat argument for LeBron right there. His best attribute is passing, but he's going to be the number 1 all-time leading scorer of all time.
oh, he already passed Jordan, but Jordan's still gonna be the one.
I'm a LeBron guy, but I'm just saying.
Speaking of scoring and people passing and scoring, Stephen Curry, he passed the Warriors all-time scorer last night.
I think it was
Last night. So that was pretty amazing. So he could get the job done. So he's the top scorer.
But with that argument, like with that being said, like yes, he can go out and score. It's obvious he's got the numbers, but with his best attribute being passing, can you make that argument with him being one of the top scorers?
LeBron, we're just talking about LeBron, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's more to come into play than just being like a top scorer.
You know what? Not to cut you off, Chris, but I feel like just hands down, LeBron is just the best complete player in the league.
Right.
He's the best player. Like scoring, shooting, passing, defending,
He'll
rebounding.
be top 10 in steals, top 5 in assists, and the leading scorer of all time when he's done.
We got a lot of LeBron love off camera, but we hear you, Zach. We hear you. But
Like, bro, like hands down, he's just
Yeah.
the best complete player in the league right now.
I definitely say that. I don't think nobody comparing with him. But
No one.
But the league change every time. Well, the league's change. I think the closest we saying this is a stretch though is Zion. And when Zion get years under his belt, he might be the closest that come to that.
That is a stretch. That is a stretch.
All right, let me make another argument for LeBron. When did the super team start? Started with the Boston Celtics. Ray Allen.
A lot of people say
Garnett.
Miami, but
Why did they do that?
To
beat LeBron.
No, they did it.
So
to beat
everybody who
LeBron.
says LeBron started the super team in Miami,
No.
think again. Boston started it to beat LeBron. LeBron went to Miami to compete with Boston.
Could we make a argument that the super team didn't happen with Boston?
3 Hall of Famers.
I mean,
it's
when
3 Hall of Famers. How is that not a super
When you
team?
think about it,
3 Hall of Famers, borderline 4th,
when you
Rajon
think about
Rondo.
it, Michael Jordan,
Borderline
they
4th.
created a super team for Michael Jordan.
yeah, Chicago was a super team.
Because look, when Michael Jordan, when he first started, yeah, they were winning, but
Scotty's a Hall of Famer. Rodman,
Yeah.
Hall of Famer,
Mhm.
borderline.
But come on, Zach, hear me out. They put those pieces together so the Bulls can win those championships.
Yeah.
I think that would consist of a super team. You can have a super team, but if they're not producing championships, wins.
Yeah, but there's a
how
difference
super
when
are they?
there's a difference when you draft a lot of those guys and build within versus
True.
Yeah.
trading assets,
them in.
building the team through free agency.
We speaking of super teams. In y'all opinion, what was the best super team?
The
What's the
best.
The best super team.
The
The
best.
San Antonio Spurs.
Yes.
The Spurs?
They had a 10-year dynasty. Who's done that?
See,
Tony
me.
Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili, and they stayed together for a long time. I mean, they were a problem for
No cap. They
over
did
10
stay.
years.
They did stay together. But me being a Laker fan, I have to say, we had a super team. Like we had a super team.
Which
If
team?
Shaq-
Which team though?
If
Which team?
Shaq would have stayed, we would have
You're talking about Kobe, Shaq.
Kobe, Shaq.
Mhm.
D. Fish, Derek
Yeah,
Fisher,
yeah,
Derek Fisher, like
Robert
I feel like-
Horry.
I feel like we had a super team. If Shaq would have stayed, in LA, would at least Kobe at least have.
He did go get one with Dwayne after that.
He
so-
did though. Kobe had 6. Kobe had 6.
You can make that argument with
If-
freaking OKC though too.
Kobe would have had 6.
Yeah, OKC was a little super team.
It was a little super
That
team.
was-
You can make
They
that
were
same
just,
argument
yeah,
though.
too young.
Too
They were just too young.
I wouldn't even say that. Like, you could also say the Dallas Mavericks had a super team.
What?
Think about
Well,
that.
they had,
Great.
they had a great player in Dirk.
They had a really good
They
player.
had
They
a great player.
And then they had J.J. Barea, who just played out of his mind to beat Miami in the
yeah.
finals.
So would you consider the Warriors?
Yeah, yeah.
The Warriors
I
had a
was gonna
super
say
team?
them. Yeah, the Warriors were a super
The
team. Yeah.
KD Warriors or
I say
Splash
both.
Brothers, Draymond.
Splash
I
Brothers
think
Draymond.
Splash Brothers Draymond.
I would count that as a super.
You got to. You got to.
I don't know, dude.
But again, though,
I
there's a
don't
difference,
know.
too, because that team was built through the draft. They drafted all 3 of those guys.
Yeah.
That's why I
True,
like
true,
that, the
true.
original.
I don't think I
They didn't
can
trade for
count
any
a
of those
super team with Draymond Green being in the
Why?
Why?
Draymond, he was the
Whoa.
defensive player.
Whoa.
He was
He's
the
good.
butter
He's
to
good.
the team.
He's good, but
Okay, the
For
numbers
his
don't.
role on that team, he was needed.
he was needed.
Okay.
Right, but that doesn't make him a super player.
I'm not sure
He
this
was the
question.
third wheel.
So wait.
But he was needed.
So
I mean, he
wait.
was their leader in assists.
Yeah.
So
On those
If we're being honest,
if we-
Curry
if-
made that.
if
Team.
you say
Yeah, without
Draymond
Curry.
is not considered a super, so do you consider Chris Bosh a part of that super too?
In
Do
Miami?
you consider
Yeah.
In
Paul,
Miami, yes.
Do you consider Paul Pierce a super too?
Paul Pierce to that Celtics team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No doubt.
Then Draymond get that recognition too.
Yeah. Who else
But
was a super?
do you think Draymond Green's gonna be a Hall of Famer?
Yes. Yes.
I feel like he is.
Yes.
Borderline.
Borderline?
Borderline.
I think he gets
I don't
in.
think he's gonna get the final
I
I
feel
think
like
push to.
hey,
I think he get in.
hey,
I think
hey,
Draymond
hey,
get in.
the way things going down for Hall of Fame criteria, I feel like he'll get the nod.
Yeah, because
I feel like he
championships
did the
are
nod.
big.
Yeah.
he get
I
in.
mean,
Definitely feel like he'll get the nod. Come on now.
Now, have we seen some super teams fail?
Yes,
Give me
Many.
many.
Houston was one. When they got James Harden, they had CP3 and they had somebody else.
What we just talked about them, the Thunder.
Yeah, that was they failed.
Okay, let's talk about super teams.
Mm-hmm.
This is tough because you can have really good players who just can't play together. And if that's the case, you can't have a super team.
That's the Rockets.
It also had to do with the coaching too, though.
You can't have a super team with people who can't mesh. I'm sorry, you can't.
And your coach is not.
But
good.
that's why
I'm still curious to see how the Brooklyn thing is going to work. And when Kyrie and Harden are on the floor, those are ball dominant guards.
But it works, so they
need
both
the ball in their hands to play their best. It could work.
What is their team at right now?
Who are you going to tell? Kyrie or Harden? Hey, you got to play off the ball.
I'll
they're
tell
not going to
Harden.
be as good.
I'll
Harden's
tell.
way better with the ball. Kyrie's way better with the ball. KD can play off the ball. More so than those two guys.
What is their team sitting at right now? Kyrie, James Harden, KD, Blake, LaMarcus Aldridge,
DeAndre Jordan.
Joe
DeAndre
Harris
Jordan,
is their
Joel
shooter.
yeah.
Spencer Dinwiddie, who's hurt, who's coming back, he's a stud.
And this team last year was making a push with Cassius LeVert.
Yeah.
But NBA bubble Cassius LeVert, this team was making a push.
Yep.
And then now, a year later, not even a year later,
I feel like
Kyrie, KD. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Kyrie and KD were on that team, but they were both hurt.
Mhm.
So, do we count the fact that they were on that team
last
for
season?
their push last year, or do you?
No.
It's really obvious the reason.
Because really, in the bubble, it was solely Cassius
It's
LeVert.
really obvious.
It's Cassius LeVert, Joe
really
Harris, all them guys.
It's real
Fuck.
obvious why they're on their damn team.
Who?
Why all of them on their damn team? It's to beat the man.
Beat LeBron.
It's to
That's what's
beat
been going
LeBron.
on for a long time.
That's been going on for a while.
But it's kind of hard when you got
Everybody's
LeBron and AD on.
No, it
But-
is.
Why did KD go to Golden State?
To beat
They won
LeBron.
the championship.
To beat LeBron. Because 2016 happened, down 3-1.
Was it to beat LeBron or was it to dodge Golden State again?
That's a good question.
Both. Kill two birds with one stone.
Both.
Kill two birds with one stone. If you
Even
can't beat
Kyle-
them, join them.
Hey, that is
You
the
can't
saying.
beat them, join them.
Kyle Riley is saying.
But what?
Kyle Lowry
I know you
said-
say both, but what do you think had more into play?
I'ma
Was it
say-
solely to.
I say the ring.
I'm
No,
I
I'd
just
say
think
Golden
it's
Warriors.
the
The
ring.
ring, and I'm saying Golden State.
I just think it's the ring.
I would say to
it's
beat
the
Golden
ring.
State in the Western Conference Finals because
Yeah.
he knew going in that Golden State had already beat the Cavs in 2015.
Right.
Now, 2015 is an asterisk. People will quickly forget this. Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving were both hurt in
Both
that
hurt.
series.
Both hurt.
Matthew Dellavedova, James Jones and company, along with LeBron, went to 6 games with that Golden State Warriors team. They took them to 6 with Matthew Dellavedova playing
He
35
played
minutes a
his
night.
ass off,
James
though.
Jones, who was 36 years old, playing 30 minutes a night. LeBron single-handedly took them to 6.
I know he ain't a dominant
And Delly
player.
played good. You're right.
He played his ass off in that
The guy had to
series.
go to get an IV in after Game 5 because he
Yeah.
had no energy.
He
left.
played his ass off in that series. I will say that.
But you put Kyrie and Kevin Love on that 2015
Okay.
team, LeBron has another ring.
Yeah.
LeBron has another ring.
LeBron
They win in
doesn't-
2015 and 2016.
Yeah.
And I think also too.
Just saying.
I think I'm going switching to Kyrie. I feel like Kyrie built this team just to prove everybody that he can win without LeBron.
Oh, definitely.
Because he went to Boston. and-
I hate to cut y'all boys off, but I got to go to my next class.
Oh, I
It's
just-
been nice.
All right.
All right, bro.
I'll
All
hop
right,
in.
Chris. But no, definitely though. I could say that I feel like Kyrie, he didn't want his career to be known as LeBron's shadow, and I can respect that. Some players are just built that way where they want to do it on their own, and some people even question, "Oh, is Kyrie gonna be KD's shadow?" I'm like, I don't think so. I feel like Kyrie has developed to his own player to where he could really take the Nets to a chip if KD does get hurt.
Because he got another piece in James Harden.
Mm.
He got another piece in James Harden.
Yeah, that is true. What you think, though, Zach? Do you think Kyrie felt like a Robin to LeBron?
There's no question. I think there's a piece of it that he didn't feel as if he got the credit he deserved. And I think And I think that's okay because, one, Kyrie was a little bit younger, and he's already, since leaving the way he did, he's apologized for the way he left. He already looks back on it and said, I didn't handle that the best way I could have. But I think he was a little, pissed off. I mean, you look at that Game 7. I mean, he went Game 6 and Game 7. He went crazy. But what did everybody talk about? LeBron's block on Iguodala. What about the shot that Kyrie hit?
What about the shot? Yeah. What about the shot?
And that's fair. And here's the thing. Here's what I think. The Cavs don't win it in 2016 without LeBron, and they don't win it without Kyrie. So it's a wash. I mean, they needed both of them guys.
They definitely needed both.
And I really would have liked to see them keep playing together because I think they were building something. They had a couple years now. Love was that third piece. They can keep adding some, pieces here and there, and I think they'd still be, right there in the Eastern Conference. I mean, but didn't work out like that. But, could Kyrie do that early on in his career, take a team to a championship like LeBron did in 2007? No. LeBron single-handedly beat the dynasty that was the Detroit Pistons. Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Antonio McDyess, Rasheed Wallace. I mean, he single-handedly beat that team with nobody.
That same team that swept the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly.
The same team that swept the Lakers.
Same team. LeBron in the Eastern Conference Finals with, these are guys that are out of the NBA. You never even probably heard their names. Sasha Vujacic, or Sasha Pavlovich, Anderson Varejao, you might know that guy with the crazy hair from Brazil. These are guys that are out of the NBA. I mean, completely irrelevant. Now, he went and got swept by the Spurs, but again, that's another dynasty. He got swept in 2007 by the Spurs, but just the fact that he got there alone. No help. And then that next year they got beat by Boston, the super team, then he left, right? So, or I'm sorry, he actually stayed for a couple more years and then left in 2012. But do I think a younger player like Kyrie could have done that? No.
Well, Kyrie was in Cleveland by himself for a couple of years, and Cleveland was still struggling before LeBron came back.
I think Kyrie. Here's why I think Kyrie and Harden work well together. I think they're both great Robins, but neither one's a Batman. Neither one's a Batman. They're great Robins.
So we got a Tim Drake and a Jake Todd. Okay.
That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. KD, he's a Batman. So they got their Batman. And I think now you got, two phenomenal Robins. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Oh, okay.
No bull. Like, I feel like they both know, like, okay, you need to do this. I need to do this. All right, let's win. Simple as that.
Yep.
They both know what they need to do.
They're old enough to put their ego aside a little bit and say, hey,
for the sake of the team,
we can take a little back seat because we know what we have, we'll win.
Exactly. We know what we need to do.
Yeah.
Let's put it together.
Yeah, because looking at Harden, he got Houston there faithfully every year.
For
Houston
sure.
rarely missed the playoffs. But my next question was, do y'all think it's easier to build a dynasty in the NBA or in the NFL? Like, if you wanted to build a dynasty, are you taking your shots NFL or NBA?
I feel like in the NFL, it starts. I feel like in any sports, I feel like it starts
Draft picks.
in the office. It starts in the front office. It starts in the front office. If you look at the Patriots, their whole dynasty, it starts in the front office.
True.
It starts in the front office. You look at the Steelers, it starts in the front office. Dallas, in those years, the front office. Like, every single owner and GM had somewhat of a hand in how they want to construct their team, what pieces need to be put together, how the draft picks flow. It starts in the front office. If your front office is shit,
You're gonna be shit.
your team is going to be shit.
Respect.
Like, if your owner can't draft or your GM can't draft a solid, good head coach to put some pieces that he needs to work. It might not work that first year, but that first year y'all seen everything, or y'all fix something in the offseason and fix everything and get the team on one accord. That's the thing. You get the team on one accord. You get the front office on one accord. You're destined to go to the championship. Hell, you might get out-coached that one time, but you're destined to go back. So, like, it starts with the front office here and there.
You agree?
Yeah, I 100% agree. But I do think in the NFL, it's harder to sustain success.
It is.
Because how many guys field a football team?
53. 53-man roster.
Right? I mean, there's a lot of turnover year in, year out. I mean, how many times you see in the NFL teams go from doing nothing to being in the Super Bowl? Or being in the Super Bowl to doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right? The NBA, not so much. There's only 5 guys on the floor. Unless you lose your LeBron, or unless you lose your Harden, or unless you lose your Kyrie, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be all right. Any of them. Any of the
Okay,
top.
time out. Let's
Right?
not
But
do
I
like
mean-
that. Let's not downplay Boston. Talking about they lose to Kyrie. Boston is still a playoff contender. They just gotta find.
Well, that's a good point.
They just gotta find another leader. Tatum could.
That's a good point.
Tatum
Right.
could. I think Tatum's gonna like roll into that.
Sure.
But as of right now, they still looking for that leader.
You're right, but I think Boston moved away from Kyrie because they saw what they had. So that was a little different move, right?
I kind of agree with you. I low-key kind of agree with you. You missing that one player.
Yeah.
Then it falls. If you look at the Patriots, they
Yeah.
took Tom Brady away,
Right.
and you
Would all that work?
you seen what happened. Like
Right.
you seen what happened.
Exactly.
But me, I'm just gonna make a bold opinion. Like no cap, I feel like the Patriots will be back. I feel like we might see Belichick and Brady in the Super Bowl this year. No cap. I feel like we might see that.
Yeah.
I feel like we might see that.
One thing I'm not gonna do. I'm not finna doubt no Bill Belichick. Just get a man time. Let him do what he do best.
Sure.
The Patriots, they could be a playoff contender. They played good last season. They gave Seattle a run for their money.
COVID just hit different in
Yeah.
New England. It just hit different in New England.
Even Cam talked about it. Cam
Yeah.
said when he got hit with it, it wasn't the same when he came
It
back.
won't the same.
Yeah.
Like, it just hit different. But you get, like I said, that organization is probably the top-notch organizations in the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They're
right.
a top-notch organization. So it starts with the head up.
And really, I mean, even this, like, you look at the Patriots team. What did they finish this year? 7-9?
Yeah.
Okay. You look at that roster. If that wasn't Bill Belichick coaching, what would it be?
Worse than the Jets.
You know what I'm saying?
Ooh,
So, like, okay, you look at that 7-9. You got to put it in perspective. They had no wide receivers, no talent, zero.
Julian Edelman got hurt.
Guys were hurt. Yeah, I mean, so you look at all that, and they still went 7-9. That's because they got Kraft at the top. They got Belichick. They got continuity. They got an identity. They know who they are, right? Even in an off year, they go 7-9, right?
They could have got it in if the AFC wasn't so, you know what I'm saying, like
Close.
so close.
And Miami kind of played out of.
Yeah.
Nobody expected Miami to do that.
They really could have made it in because what? I think we made it in with a low record.
Yeah, but in the AFC, it was a lot of close. I think you had the Raiders. I'm gonna say the Raiders had Miami by a game.
Yeah.
But I think Baltimore had the Dolphins. But it was a lot of
tight.
Yeah.
It definitely was tight. So what? The AFC North was pretty tight because what?
Mm-hmm.
The Steelers was up, then the Ravens was up, then
Yeah,
the Browns
Browns
was
were in the
up.
mix.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was a tough division that year.
Yeah.
For sure.
But speaking of dynasties, for me, I'm gonna take the draft pick dynasty because I look at what Boston did with them drafting Tatum, Jaylen Brown. That's the basketball side.
Mhm.
Football side, look at who drafted a good. Let me think. Who played their draft picks right in football? The Raiders, because we all questioned John Gruden when that happened. We was like, what did you just do?
Mm-hmm.
So the way he went to go grab Josh Jacobs, Henry Ruggs, he gonna have a nice little second breakout season. And I want to say Walker's from out the drive too.
Mm-hmm.
So it just depends. Like you said, it definitely is the front office. But some front offices they do it by the free agent. Hey, get a vet player, bring them in, plug them in. Some do it by the draft picks. So to this day, I still question John Gruden. Or like give away Amari Cooper and Khalil Mack, and you had a team set. I still question that. But he made it work. But that's something I always question.
It really depends, like, the makeup of your team, too, when you get into the idea of, like, should you build it through the free agency or should you, trade for players? Because, I mean, you look at LeBron when he came back to Cleveland, right, in 2015 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was no time for him to wait around for them to build it through the draft. You know what I mean? I mean, he was already kind of like, well, we thought he was old then, but not really. But it was like we're bringing in Kyrie. He's already proven. We're bringing in Kevin Love. He's already proven. Whereas Boston, both of those guys got drafted around the same time so they can grow together. Now we'll try to add Kemba Walker into the mix to get us over the hump. Right?
Yeah. Same thing with Golden State.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They were already proven, but, that was just a whole nother ordeal when they brought in KD.
Yeah.
That was just, it was over.
Just speaking on Boston, I think they just one player away, man. Same, because I like what Philly got this season. Philly is definitely a contender, but they ain't beat no Nets. Milwaukee, Giannis gonna do Giannis things, but once you force Giannis to shoot, Milwaukee lost. So I think Boston to get that one missing piece, they're gonna be fine. I'm telling you, they're gonna be fine. They just need to find out one leader that can take charge. I don't know who, but they could do it. Another team that's kind of like a low key little dynasty, Portland, with Dame, CJ, with Melo playing not Melo ball, but playing old Melo gets the job done. And I think I'm missing a player. I think they got somebody.
Nurkic is good too.
Yeah.
Got love. Big Nurk.
Yeah.
He's a beast. I mean, the NBA, man, it's fun to watch because the playoff rolls around. I mean, you got a lot of teams, I think, these last few years that really have a legit shot. I still think Brooklyn, no doubt, on paper, they should get out of the East. I mean, no doubt. But these guys really haven't played a lot of meaningful games together yet. And there's only, how many games left in the season?
Not a lot.
Not a lot. So what's going to happen when they face adversity? We don't know. We don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I mean? Okay, Chris Paul and James Harden, I know they didn't have KD, but they had a really good team in Houston, right? They got close, but they couldn't get over the hump against Golden State. They was
missing that one player. I feel like, didn't Chris Paul get hurt that year?
He was in and out of the lineup, but they still went to 7. They should have beat the Warriors that year. I think it was 2017.
Nah, they should have beat the Warriors that year.
They had them up. Yeah, they had them.
So was the Thunder. The Thunder should have beat the Warriors
that year.
Yeah. Yep. But, the other thing I question with Brooklyn, defense.
Defense.
They're going to be the best at outscoring people. But what happens when the shots aren't falling a little bit? Can they rely on their defense? Can they win games with their defense?
I feel like that's been the question since day one, though.
I don't think so.
They're
going to have to score.
Yeah. James Harden can't play defense.
Because you're going to score against Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to score. The good teams are going to score. But, what happens when Brooklyn has an off shooting night and they got to win with their defense? I think the Lakers could win with their defense.
Prime example, when they just played recent couple nights ago. So
I think Milwaukee, I know you said some, I don't even know if they're there, but they can win with their defense.
Defense win championships.
True.
Defense win championships. Defense really do win championships.
But, to say I would be shocked if Brooklyn...
But
I wouldn't be shocked at all.
Though.
I wouldn't be shocked.
It still holds true. It still holds true. If you look
But the game tightens up in the playoff. The game slows down.
Yes.
It's not played so much in the fast break. Regular season, it's kind of loosey-goosey. Everybody knows it.
Everyone tightens up.
Fans, players, officials. Officials start calling less fouls in the playoffs. It's more physical.
Come on, if you look at the bad boys in Detroit, they had a Jordan rule on defense to stop Michael Jordan, and that's how they won those rings. Michael Jordan even talking about in the Last Dance documentary. Bro, they had a rule, bro, on defense, bro. When he goes in the air, you hit him. They had a rule, bro. Defense win championship, bro. Football, basketball, baseball, whatever.
There was a quote back in 2015 when the Warriors had Andrew Bogut. There was it kind of got out in the media a little bit, too much. But Steve Kerr basically said every time he comes in the lane, he being LeBron, I want you to make him feel it. Hit him. I don't care. You can get 6 fouls in the first 5 minutes. It don't matter.
Got to be a little aggressive.
You know what I mean? And that's the thing where it's the playoffs, some of that stuff is able to happen, I think, because officials aren't calling all the ticky-tack fouls. They know what's at stake, so they want the players to
hoop.
To hoop, yeah, and to be able to really decide the game.
Speaking on the NBA, we had an injury earlier today. Jamal Murray, he tore his ACL. He tore his ACL.
I didn't see that.
Do we question Denver in the playoffs now, or do we think Denver's going to be okay?
I feel like they'll do they'll be. I wouldn't say they'd be okay. I don't know. They was building something in Denver.
Definitely what he
They
did
got a nice
last
squad.
year in the
Definitely
bubble
what he
play.
did
Last year in the bubble
Yeah,
playoff.
and Porter continues to get better.
Yeah, and they just got Aaron Gordon.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about that.
The Joker always playing his best ball.
They still got Will Barton.
I'm not sure.
Will Barton.
I'm not sure. But I don't know. Like Jamal Murray definitely.
That's a bit. I think that is a bit blow.
That is a big
Yeah.
blow.
Just the way he played in the playoffs last season, so you knew when the playoffs hit what was going to bring to the table this season. So that definitely hurt. Man.
Yeah, and Murray's that guy, man. He gets hot. He'll win you a few games in a series. I mean, he's going to give you his 20, but I mean, sometimes he's going to give you 50.
He can,
You know, I mean, when he
go the
gets
extra mile
going-
when needed. So
Yeah,
Man,
that's a huge. Blow.
like I said last year, seeing him and Mitchell go back and forth in a bubble,
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
that might have been the best basketball we got in the bubble. That was like a Mayweather fight in my opinion. I'm just hey, you drop one, I'm dropping one. What's up?
yeah.
But now that's
I think Denver will be around for a while, though. As long as they keep those guys together, he comes back healthy. I like Porter. I like what they got going on. That's what I mean. I think there's a lot of good teams.
Do you see them? Could they bring a chip to Denver though? That's the thing.
I think they're I think they're in the conversation. I really do.
I tell you what.
Not this year without Murray.
I tell you what. Jamal, they get everybody back. Only way they can make it to a chip if LeBron get out the West.
that go for anybody though.
LeBron get out.
Yeah.
That's what, if LeBron get out the West. They got a shot. It's up for grabs.
Yeah.
No, they
Look
don't.
at the Eastern Look at the Eastern. Like I said, it's up for grabs. Look at the Eastern Conference now. Once LeBron left, the Eastern Conference up for grabs. No one had.
What about
that
the
on lock.
Clippers?
That's what I said. I said no, they don't. Remember,
It's up for grabs. You still have a
Nah.
shot because you still
Nah.
got to think about the Warriors. You still got to think about the Warriors.
The Clippers are kind of just sitting there everybody's being quiet on them. I think
yeah, they don't. Yeah,
we'll see.
You
We'll
done
see.
picked up Rondo. You got Cousins.
We'll see.
They
I
can't
love the
win.
Rondo pickup.
They can't win.
Love
Yeah,
the
but they
Rondo
can't hear
pickup.
it. So
They can't
but,
win. They can't win.
Yeah.
You know why? You know why?
I don't
'Cause
know,
Paul
man.
George can't get it done.
Mm.
They can't win.
We'll see.
Paul George can't get it done.
But
and
Kawhi
they can't
can.
beat LeBron. They
But
can't.
Kawhi beat him before.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
No, Kawhi's got him before.
He
I
got him
mean,
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got him before. But
Rondo is a great pickup. That's all I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah,
say.
definitely. Definitely Rondo's.
Playoff Rondo.
Playoff Rondo.
I mean,
I don't know. The Clippers coming something to bite on though, cause we definitely downplayed them boys in that bubble. It was like so they
I
come.
still downplay them. They still look.
Well, you a Laker fan, so
Yeah,
of
I
course
still
that's
downplay
just
them.
you.
Yeah.
I'm a huge LeBron guy. I mean, I'm you
I
know,
wish Blake was.
I'm a
you know.
Cavs fan. We're not in the mix. We got some young pieces, Garland and Sexton, but
Oh yeah, man. Y'all building something in the. Y'all know who building something for real though? Chicago was that Levine. That's good.
he's a stud.
Do he lead? It's crazy. We just imagine. We remember him like him dunking to now where he give you 39 in the first half,
Yeah.
or he might give you 50 to end the game off. It's like wow.
I watched some of his training, some of the stuff he does off the floor, like in the off season.
Mhm.
It's intense.
Mhm.
That dude puts in the work, and you can see it. I mean, you can see it then when every year he's getting
Do y'all
noticeably better.
Do y'all see him going to like a better team once his contract is up? Do y'all see him being like in a top tier team, Boston, Toronto type area?
I feel like he might.
I think
He might stay. I don't know.
the Lakers need a guard.
Nope, that's not fair. Nope, we're not gonna go there.
What's not fair when KD,
We're
James
not gonna
Harden,
go
and
there.
Kyrie Irving are on the same team? How's that not fair?
It's not fair to. Oh, because you're saying it's
That's-
not
All right,
fair to
let-
that team.
let's-
It's not
So
fair?
Kyrie, Harden, and Durant's fair,
Man, you
but
finna go
Zach
grab Zach-
LaVine, LeBron,
LeBron
and
and
AD?
AD?
What's the difference?
You saying that? You just saying it's not fair because it's LeBron.
What's the difference?
That's why you're saying it. That's exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. You're saying it because it's not different because it's LeBron.
Right.
I didn't agree with the Nets move either, but okay, maybe I don't. Okay, maybe it is just a LeBron.
It's the
Right,
LeBron thing.
right.
Just go ahead, bro. Call it what it is,
Because
bro.
LeBron's a
But,
goat.
But nah, I don't know about the same way with Tom Brady. Like I
You gotta give him his credit.
I get Tom Brady's
All
props.
right, so wait, switching over to NFL real quick.
Okay.
How long until Edelman unretires and joins the Bucs?
He bet not, bro. He bet not, bro.
Seriously though, I mean, what are the odds?
month.
What are the odds that Edelman is on the Bucs at some point next season?
I don't know.
50-50?
Look,
I don't know.
50-50.
That's
I'm telling you, he's
that's a
gonna
stretch.
wait. He's gonna wait till about week 8 And then
They're gonna make that call.
No, that's the stretch because
I'm telling you.
because everyone from that Super Bowl team Bucks returned.
That is true.
They're
That
not
is true.
lacking in
so
anything.
okay,
though,
they got okay.
They're not lacking anything.
No, don't got.
But they weren't
Brown.
lacking anything before they brought Antonio Brown.
Brown, that is true.
Brown's gone.
I thought they resigned Antonio Brown.
No, he a free.
He a free agent.
Are you sure?
You
I heard they brought everybody back from the Super
I
Bowl.
heard. I heard that he resigned.
Somebody double check. I promise. I think Antonio's a free agent. But
Well,
somebody double
as
check.
I'm pulling that up,
But
okay.
that's not fair. They know.
Who's to say you can't have Edelman, Brown, Evans,
Godwin.
No.
Scotty Miller.
No. It's like what? Speaking of them, like what do they even draft in the draft? Like, do you just trade your pick away? You don't need it. Trade
No.
it away.
No. Like you always need a draft pick. You always need.
They don't need it now.
You don't know. You
Trade it
always
away.
need a draft pick.
Trade it away.
You always need a draft.
Trade it
pick.
away.
You might not have.
Trade it away.
You might don't get no one to start right away, but with that team, he can learn underneath those veterans. So when it's time for him to step up, he already know what time it is.
Man, that
So it
team-
says this is a week ago. Brown wants the Bucks to re-sign free agent wide receiver, or he wants to get re-signed.
Sign. Yeah, I know he's still a free agent.
So it's still kind of
Up in the air.
up in
Yeah.
the air.
Speaking of trade talks with players meeting teams, hey, the boys trying to get they're trying to get Clowney. Now,
I heard
listen,
that. I
that's-
heard that.
Hey, that is
How
a
good
monster.
is Clowney though?
Huh?
I mean, is it? We just going off the name now? Is he still good?
Is he still good?
I mean, I'm just saying though. I mean,
You got the phone out. You can look at the stats for the season. You got the
Okay.
phone. You got the phone out.
the injuries scare me though.
True.
I mean, are we signing a guy because he used to be good, or are we signing a guy because he's still good?
True.
But you still gotta like a Myles Garrett and a Davion
I like it.
Clowney. Like you still gotta like that on our front seven.
I would have liked us to draft T.J. Watt when we had the opportunity too. That'd have been nice.
He felt.
Man.
He was
But
still
then
on
he
the
went
board.
to
when
like
I
the
was-
next pick to the Steelers.
He was still on the board.
Uh-huh. I was like, it was like the. Of course, I was playing GM in my living room, but I was like, this is the easiest pick
Are you
ever,
gonna play GM this year?
and they didn't pick him.
You playing GM this year?
Oh, of course, yeah. always.
He's
Of course. Duh. I mean, who doesn't play GM?
So yeah, you have to.
Only team that threw me off, and it was last year, Philadelphia not taking one of the best receivers on the board. I think they had Jefferson still up there, Jerry Jeudy was still up there, and I think CeeDee Lamb might still, but somebody was up there, and they chose a receiver from TCU. I'm not knocking him, because just go back to our topic earlier, fans knocking after. I'm not knocking him, but he was not the best available, and I feel like Philly made the wrong move with that. I'm sorry.
All right. So what's the metric that you want to look at Clowney at? What do you want to?
Sacks and tackles, pretty much. That's the main thing. That's the main thing you want your edge rusher to be.
Tackles for loss.
Yeah.
He hasn't had double-digit tackles for loss since 2018.
Okay.
What else?
We said sacks.
Sacks.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 3 in the last 2 years. He had 9 in 2018. So he hasn't been Jadeveon Clowney since 2018. Now, can he be Jadeveon Clowney again in 20? Maybe. But these injuries scare me.
But he did good at Seattle, didn't he? Did. So his best year was in Houston?
He played, 2019 he played 13 games, started 11, had 3 sacks.
Okay, what about last year?
Last year played in 8 games, started in 8 games for Tennessee, 0.
Was
0
he
sacks.
He must have been. He had to be. Yeah, he had to be.
But he played and started in 8 games, no sacks.
Maybe this is a rebirth.
Yeah.
Maybe. It depends what the contract looks like.
Mm.
That would be kind of where I'm
But
I'm looking.
man. I just feel like you gotta have an edge rusher on your team. Like,
agreed.
it's just crazy how the football have turned into that. Like, offensive linemen, quarterbacks, edge rushers. If you don't got those on your team, you're not winning. Like, you want to have those.
No cap, because you can have a subpar secondary, but you at least want a top tier person in your secondary, at least a veteran in your secondary. You
You don't need a vet.
No,
You don't need a vet.
you kind of do, because
Yeah.
if you look at the Saints that year when they played the Vikings, they had rookies across the board in their secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Rookies,
But Lattimore snapped that year, though.
But it does not matter.
You said-
a veteran. They have rookies of course.
You need
The
somebody
Did they have
Yeah.
Malcolm
rookies-
Jenkins? Did they have Malcolm
No,
Jenkins?
they didn't have Michael Jenkins that year when they played the Vikings and
With
then,
the Miracle Kids.
yeah, Michael Jenkins was on that squad. He was still with the Eagles.
You
They That's the year they went to the Super Bowl.
You sure?
Yes, that's the year they went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the year they went to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Lattimore played outstanding that year, so I'm not. No, they had.
Nah,
It was just a missed call.
You need a veteran, and if you
I
in the
think so,
secondary,
too.
you need a veteran. You need a veteran, and in any position, low key.
Yeah.
Receivers, quarterbacks.
So who's the vet from the Adam? Never mind, that's the vet.
Adam
Thielen.
Thielen,
Adam
Stephon
Thielen.
Diggs is a vet
No, I'm talking about this season.
this year. Yeah,
It was Adam. It was Adam.
Yeah, Adam Thielen. Yeah, you need somebody.
Why? Who else?
You need somebody.
But I think you're right, Chris. I think because passing has become so prominent,
You need an
pass
edge
rushing is so
Yeah,
prominent on the other
definitely.
side.
One.
Definitely.
You know,
Like Miles Garrett.
people are throwing 50, 60 times a game. I mean,
What?
like it's nothing.
Like Miles Garrett, Bradley Chubb. Who's another one?
Chase Young.
The Bosa's,
What?
The Bosa's, the
The
Watts.
dude out of the Barrett.
Watts.
The Barrett out of Saquon. Is I want to know it's
Oh,
Barrett.
Shaq Barrett.
Shaq
Yeah,
Barrett.
Barrett. Yeah, out of Tampa. Even
He's a
Devin
beast.
White. I think he might have been one thing. You know.
Yep.
So I feel like those.
Dupree.
What?
Where did Dupree go?
He at Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
That's a great pickup for them.
But yeah, man. I just felt like you need an edge rusher. Everybody go for the quarterback. You better grab your edge rusher. You better grab you one.
Mm-hmm.
like
Like you know who got a good couple of them. Dallas, who just don't. Just they get in trouble. Ryan Gregory, Jalen Smith.
oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
They just get in trouble.
And
Mark
Cleveland,
Lawrence.
low key, Olivier Vernon last year,
Mm-hmm.
before he got hurt, he could still ball. Olivier Vernon had some career years in New York with the Giants, but
Yeah.
he played really well on the other side of Garrett, like low key.
Hey, y'all know who building a bad front seven too? Them boys in Indy with Darius is it I forgot his last
Smith
name.
is it? Or no, I'm thinking of the guy from Green Bay.
It's Darius
Leonard,
Leonard,
something like
man.
that, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Then they had a dude out of San Fran.
They got a lot of young guys too on that defense. They're
Yeah.
good.
Dang, snatch. I feel like we got the best front seven.
What?
I feel like we got the best front seven.
Yeah, I don't know. I like
I feel like we got the best front seven.
Who?
Washington.
Deron
It's
Payne,
good. It's
Sweat,
Yeah,
Chase Young,
Yeah,
it's good. But that Indy jump look sounds.
Chase Young he's going to
Ryan
be.
Kerrigan.
They are good.
Yeah. That Indy jump sounds scary. Who else got a good front seven? That Indy jump sounds scary. I'm trying to think who else got one. The Rams. No, the Rams.
The Bucks.
Yeah, we said
Yeah,
them.
the
We said them.
The Bucks. Nah, I don't think we said the Bucks.
We said the Bucks.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did. Cause we named one of their edge rushers.
Oh, yeah,
They
yeah,
just
yeah.
have a defense.
They do.
I mean, just across the board.
They have a defense, no cap. They defense kept them in that Super Bowl.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I
They
won't talk
defense-
about it.
Nobody shuts down. I mean, you can't shut down Mahomes, but
Man,
They shut,
pretty
they
much.
shut them down.
Pretty much.
We couldn't get the ball
They
off,
couldn't
run
move the
game.
ball.
No.
Like, bro, Mahomes could not get in the rhythm at all.
I didn't see that coming.
I did not see that Super Bowl to be that lopsided. I did not.
Mm-mm.
Did not at all.
I
felt
thought it was going to be a close game, high scoring
shootout. Like,
shootout,
That
and flip a
defense
coin
tied.
who wins.
No,
Whoever
that
gets the
defense-
ball last.
They defense tied them, but they second. I should have knew. Nah, cause I said they secondary been playing good throughout the whole season. Like they secondary was amazing. Our front seven did his thing. The linebackers did their thing. But I'm like, nah, cause we played them in the regular season, and Tyreek had 230 yards in the first half.
Everything
Yeah.
turned up though.
So,
when they got to the playoffs, that's that veteran instinct in Tom Brady. Tom Brady's like, all right, this is what we need to do. Y'all need to tighten up. Everybody clicked when it came to
And pressure, man.
pressure.
That matters.
Like,
know, pressure.
Bro, Brady.
That's
was
why Brooklyn,
playing.
man. Like
Right.
now, Kyrie, I ain't worried about him with pressure. I mean, he's been there on the biggest stage
He been
and performed.
all of them been there.
No,
Not Harden.
Katie.
not Harden,
Yeah.
not Blake,
Not Harden. Not Blake. Not LMA.
not DeAndre Jordan.
But you got enough people that been there could take, like, hey, when you get here, it's a different battlefield. Like you said, same thing with the Lakers
Yeah.
last year. Ain't all of them been there. The people that been there was LeBron been there last year.
And Rondo,
Okay, that's two.
Danny Green.
Mhm.
Danny Green been everywhere. But okay.
That's pretty much
You know
it.
what I'm saying? So.
JaVale.
JaVale, definitely, yeah. I forgot about
He won
JaVale.
titles.
Yeah.
Have Dwight Howard been to the finals?
Yeah, lost to Kobe.
Yeah, man. 08.
Somehow Orlando beat a Cleveland team with Hedo Turkoglu and Rashard Lewis and Rafer Austin. otherwise known as Skip to My Lou from And1, the street ball. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Yeah,
This dude, he came from street ball to the NBA and balled. Ray for Austin.
when you said and one, I thought of the clothing line.
That's what it's from.
Oh,
But it
yeah.
used to be And1 basketball. It used to be like a street ball league. And this guy got real popular. His name over there was Skip to My Lou.
Okay.
And then he came to the NBA and balled out for them. But they just shot threes like crazy, that Orlando team. And they just had Dwight plucking every rebound. And that was their whole team.
Did Allen
Shoot
Iverson ever
threes
get a
and
ring?
Dwight.
Nope.
No, Allen never got one.
He did another one.
Who's that?
Iverson,
He got that one.
Never got one.
He didn't win. He got that one time.
Stockton and Malone.
Yes, he was
That's the
another
one.
one when we talked about it with Chris, like
Yeah.
surefire Hall of Famers.
All-time leader in assists.
Like that's another one.
By
John
a
Stockton.
landslide.
He don't have a ring.
I don't think anybody will catch that in a while. John Stockton's assist record.
It's crazy, man. It's like we got some great players. Like we done seen some. For mom say my year, like I know like Westbrook got to go in one. I know Westbrook gonna be a Hall of Famer, even though he might not have that ring.
I just respect how hard he plays.
It's just them triple doubles.
I feel like it's just like, man, low key, like this is probably the best era for sports. Like
Yeah.
this is the best era for sports.
Nah, a sport I want to learn. I want to get into baseball. I really do.
And I
Cause they be
love
getting paid.
I love
Oh,
that
yeah.
money, that money guaranteed. That money guaranteed.
Like I'm saying, baseball player get paid $200 million for maybe 4 years. I'm
Nah,
like,
you haven't seen anything.
And they signed those 10, 12-year contracts.
Mike Trout,
Mhm.
Bryce Harper's though their contract.
3, 4,
The Harper-
500 million.
Their
the Bryce
contracts
kid, though, he
are
played. The Bryce, he played for Washington. He played for the baseball team in Washington. Oh,
He did. He don't play for them. He
Okay.
What did
play for them.
Lindor just sign with the Mets?
mm.
It's crazy.
Like it's crazy. Their contracts is ridiculous. Like for real. Like
So
it
Lindor
is.
played with Cleveland. And this is the one thing I don't like about the MLB, though, okay?
Mhm.
So Cleveland is a mid-market team.
Mhm.
We can't do this. I mean, the Mets just signed him to a 10-year, $341 million deal.
How much money?
10-year, $341 million. $34 million a year on average. See, that's what I don't like about it, because like this is a guy who was on the Tribe for a long time, took us like to a lot of great, we made it to the championship 2016, should have beat the Cubs, but we can't do that. We can't give him 10 years, $340 million.
That's the thing.
But the Mets can, the
But
Yankees can,
that's
the
the-
Rangers can,
That's
the
thing,
Dodgers
though.
can.
When these superstars get these huge contracts and they don't produce, like
It's crazy.
it's crazy. Like
It's crazy.
it's crazy.
The
when-
Warriors, they in Kansas, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Is Tampa baseball team good? I remember a couple.
They're solid.
Okay.
they're okay.
So what's the good baseball teams?
Yanks.
Okay, I know that they the OGs.
It fluctuates, but
It
like,
fluctuates.
yeah, Yankees are always going to be, because they buy their talent. I mean, that's just what it is. They buy their
They
talent.
buy their talent, yeah.
Dodgers, they do the same thing. They buy their talent.
Dodgers
Red
in
Sox,
LA, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Red Sox, they buy their talent.
What are Red Sox at?
Boston.
Boston?
Mhm.
Okay.
But really, some of them teams, even that when they buy their talent, like it still don't work out.
It
Like,
still don't work out.
Was the
still-
Houston team good 1 year?
Houston,
They got
yeah,
theirs taken away though.
Okay.
because they were stealing signs, but they're another big market.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Texas Rangers.
So San Diego is a big market too though. They're starting.
San
to come-
Diego, they're starting
the
to come up too.
Padres, they're starting to definitely.
And they just signed Manny Machado. Let me see what his contract was.
What about the team
It's
in
crazy.
Kansas, the Warriors? How they are?
Yeah,
I thought they won one.
they alright. They alright. But then they have Bo Jackson.
So Manny Machado, he'll make $30 million a year until 2029, which translates to $2.5 million a month, $625,000 a week, $625K a week
A week.
till 2029. That's what baseball players are. Yeah.
Man.
So it's baseball,
Some
basketball,
K a week.
No, it goes soccer.
American
Mhm.
sports, like American sports though. I'm talking.
Soccer's an American sport.
Well, if you really want to start at the top, it's boxing.
I don't know, Zach. Come on, Zach. I don't
Floyd.
know. He's the only one.
Manny.
He's the only
Manny.
one.
Pacquiao used to. I mean, what,
Okay.
he signed some crazy.
Okay, it's
deals.
3. It's what? Floyd.
What about
Floyd?
your boy?
Who?
Wilder?
No,
Oh.
Davis?
no, the guy from
Fury?
Connor.
Connor?
That's UFC fighter.
But
How much money has he made?
That's
Mm.
who he's in the ring with. Who's in the
Floyd.
Floyd. It's because
Right.
it was with Floyd he got that payday.
Right.
It was with
But
Floyd he
still.
got that payday.
He was the main attraction before then.
Yeah. He led the UFC. Him and Ronda Rousey led the UFC. That was the
Facts.
like.
Then
You're right. Highest paid athlete. If we're talking team sports,
Mm-hmm.
highest paid athletes I think are Ronaldo and Messi. Right.
Soccer.
We're gonna look it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta look
Soccer.
it up. I think you're right.
It goes soccer,
Mhm.
baseball.
Mhm.
Now this is on the field though too, because
Yeah.
when you start talking off the field,
Oh, that come with endorsement deals and stuff.
now it's different.
Yeah, it's different.
Now it's
different.
probably LeBron or
Like that. You think LeBron got the most endorsements?
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
LeBron.
Yes.
He partly owns Arsenal.
Yes.
He partly owns Arsenal.
We talking about some teams. Somebody just bought the Memphis. Somebody just bought the Memphis Timberwolves.
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
What I said?
You said
Memphis.
Memphis.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Okay. But yeah, he just bought the Timberwolves.
Current player, or
He retired. I think his last name was Rodriguez. Was it Rodriguez?
basketball player?
It's a baseball?
I think
Oh, Alex Rodriguez,
was it him?
A-Rod.
A-Rod?
Somebody bought
I
the.
could see him doing that. I mean, he got
We're just
crazy
gonna
money
search up.
from his contracts too.
We're just gonna search up.
He's still
I'm gonna go
getting
top.
paid from the Rangers, and his contract he signed was in '96.
Somebody bought the.
He's
Somebody
still
bought the
getting
Timberwolves.
paid.
Somebody bought the Timberwolves. I know
He's still
that.
getting paid, but like it also like it has to do with like really endorsements.
Okay, so now this is, I don't know if this is in any order. I'm just gonna rattle some of these off.
All right.
But Michael Jordan's still on the list because he's making more money now than he's ever made, which is
Yeah.
crazy.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised.
So Messi,
Okay. you said
LeBron.
soccer. LeBron at 2?
I don't know if this is in order.
Okay.
Here, hold on. Here we go. The world's highest paid athlete. Here, this should be in order now.
All right.
Yeah, this is in order. Number 1 is
Is it
Roger Federer, tennis.
Wow.
Number 2, Ronaldo. Number 3, Messi.
Okay.
Number 4, Neymar, all soccer.
Okay.
5, LeBron. 6, Steph. 7, KD. 8, Tiger Woods. 9, Kirk Cousins.
What?
10, Wentz.
How much?
11,
how much
Fury.
Oh, yeah,
12, Westbrook. Now, I don't know if this is...
You know what? That makes sense. Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins has the only guaranteed contract.
What?
Like no cap.
Now, again, I don't know how they're doing it. Are they doing this through endorsements too?
Did you say Carson was up there?
Are they doing it just their 2020 contract? Carson Wentz is number 10.
Wow.
So maybe it's just the money they made in 2020.
Probably 2020. Because yeah.
Fury up there? Tyson
Fury's number 11.
Yeah.
Connor's 16. Goff is 15. Harden 17. Giannis 18. Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder 19 and 20.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Has to be.
Dame up there too?
Tom Brady's 21. Breeze, Irving, top 25. Clay.
Julio, I know Julio.
Canelo.
Or the tennis player.
Canelo. Oh.
Yeah,
Mbappe, soccer.
PG.
Grady Jarrett.
Gotta be off of Salami.
Yeah.
He's a defensive player.
Okay. Michael Thomas, I'm not surprised.
Clayton Kershaw. I think that might be the first baseball player.
For real?
Which is crazy.
Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah.
The
This is
picture-
Forbes
the
list. So
picture.
yeah.
That's OD.
And that's it.
Yeah. Now I don't know. Again, I don't know how they're
But no.
getting there with those numbers, but
So we know who the highest paid football player is. Yes, sir. Patty Mahomes. Yes, sir.
You know how his contract is constructed? Like the way they do NFL contracts is
Complicated? Oh,
way-
no.
it's complicated and mind blowing at the same time. The way they construct it, oh my goodness. Like some of that money don't kick in until
He's like 5th year.
yeah.
they say, just a quick blurb, just for reference points, LeBron makes 3 times the amount of money per year off the floor than he does on.
Nah, cap. No cap.
So just think about that.
Just
He's making 3 times the amount of money he's making playing the sport.
That man gets paid like, and he's a businessman. Like, bro, he's a businessman.
He's investing.
He's an investor, businessman. Like, bro, you know how much money he's probably getting paid off of Space Jam?
It's crazy.
He's getting paid more off Nike alone.
Curry's right up there too. I mean,
He's
Curry's getting up there with his endorsements and stuff too.
He's selling Under Armour. Like he's
really,
Mhm.
he's pushing
Under Armour dog.
And he's big with Callaway Golf. He's a big golfer. He's a real good golfer too, and Callaway is a big brand.
I didn't know about the golf.
I didn't know about the golf part, but I know about Callaway.
Okay. I knew about the Under Armour. He pushed
Under Armour for sure.
Nah, he is.
I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if kids start wearing Under Armour. I want them to be surprised.
I wanted a pair of Curry's, no cap. I ain't gonna
Russell
say.
Wilson?
Now this list has Russell Wilson on it, so I think this list is putting in endorsements too, but it's the same type of players that we saw on that other list, but it's different orders. Like there's Joey Bosa out of nowhere, number 20. So I don't know where they're getting that.
His contract that's his rookie year. Hasn't he have it? Is he in his fourth year?
I see a NASCAR up there.
Blake Griffin is on this list now too. Yeah, this NASCAR guy wasn't even on the top.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I wonder how they work the NASCAR. How do they get paid?
Most of theirs is like sponsors and endorsements.
Sponsorship endorsements.
I mean, like you can win a good amount of money if you finish really high in a lot of the events. But if you're finishing like middle of the, it's kind of like golf to where like, if you're like doing okay, like you're doing okay. You're not like there's no guarantee. Yeah, because they're individual sports. You got to go get it. Like somebody's not be like, hey, we're going to take a bet on you. Here's 5 year, $100 million. And then, like, you're like Solomon Hill, like, I don't know if you guys know that guy from the NBA. Like, they gave him a big contract, and he was just, like, not what they thought he was going to be.
Bo Wallace, he got the deal with Jordan, so I know that's big for him.
Yeah.
The NASCAR racer.
No, for real, yeah.
And that's something I think that's something that helped Jordan out, too, just getting involved in different sports.
Yeah.
That won't keep his money flowing.
But individual sports, it's tough, though, because you have to, year in, year out, you have to prove it. Like golf, like, you can be on the tour 1 year, everybody knows your name, and then next year, like, you're done.
That's the same thing in the fight game.
Yeah,
boxing,
same thing, right.
Like,
you get knocked out one time, you can be done.
Yeah, because I haven't heard Wilder in a while since the Phone Fury fight. Yeah. And I liked Wilder, but,
nah, for real. Like, if you don't stay consistent on top, that's why Floyd, how he is now. You stay consistent on top, and where your money, coming from. You know how you getting your money. You know what I'm saying?
Is he gonna fight again?
You think he's gonna fight again?
I don't know.
I don't think.
Man, I don't, man. Floyd don't need to.
He don't need to.
He don't need.
He didn't need to fight Conor though either.
Maybe the price was right.
But yeah, exactly.
The price was right.
Exactly.
For him and
so
Conor.
I mean, who actually would come? Is it gonna be like one of these Jake Paul
I
YouTube
heard
stars?
that, and it better not be.
I wouldn't fight him. I wouldn't fight him. I really wouldn't fight him.
If you were Floyd?
Yeah, ain't no point.
No, ain't no point. You want to fight?
What if the money's right?
Oh, okay then. Yeah, we could. Yeah, you get knocked out for the money. You get knocked out for the money.
Right.
I get you paid. You get me paid. It's simple.
Right.
But no, okay. I know you just back to that Timberwolf. Who bought
yeah.
them? I'm still trying to figure out who bought
Here,
them.
let me find out.
I know it's.
I'll check it
I
out.
think he bought them and another team. It's crazy just buying a team. I think Pat Mahomes, he bought like a little share of the baseball.
Yeah,
team.
It was Alex Rodriguez.
Okay.
Joining bid to buy the Timberwolves, so he's joining the bid.
Don't Jay-Z partially own the Nets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and Usher partly owns the Cavs.
Yeah, no, I know.
And there's a lot of them like that, man.
Didn't LeBron buy a team too? Okay.
There's a lot of entertainers who own. And it's not like the whole thing. It's just
Nice little share.
You know who was famous for doing that was way back in the day, George Bush Jr. He bought a piece of the, what was it, Texas Rangers. That investment, it's like times 25 his initial investment.
So he's still getting paid.
He's still just making millions. And that was like when all the franchises were cheap relative to what they are now.
Mm.
You know, it's crazy. Mark Cuban, shoot, when he bought Dallas versus what it's worth now,
everybody loves
it's crazy.
him. Like in the work office, I heard a lot of people like him. Like a lot of people like he's an amazing person. I think you showed us a
Dude,
video.
he is the coolest billionaire. Yeah. I mean, I don't really know the guy, obviously.
But the videos you showed us, like
right.
people enjoy working with him. Then you see things in articles. He helped his co-workers or the community.
He's
That's
super
pretty
cool.
dope. Like,
he just seems like a real normal dude. Like, and not too many billionaires, I think, are that approachable.
Yeah.
You know,
and he draft good. Got Luka. Then he picked up the unicorn and free agency. He's good, man.
But Ballmer's like that too with the Clippers. Yeah, that dude's hilarious. You know, he's the CEO of Microsoft, and he seems pretty down to earth too. He seems
How would
like a
y'all
pretty normal
feel
dude.
about owners kind of being more social? Would y'all like that? If owners were more social, kind of talk to the fans or kind of get the inside?
I think it's good when you have the personality of like Cuban, but like when you're like Jerry Jones.
Just the Knicks you talking about? The Knicks owner?
No,
Oh,
I think it's good when somebody like Mark Cuban is outspoken because people like him. But like when you're outspoken and you're Jerry Jones, it could be bad.
Start with the highs.
You know,
Start with the higher ups, man. Like, man, once you start winning consistently.
Yeah.
Stuff start to change. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a business at the end of the day. I ain't here to make friends with you. I ain't here to be your friend. I'm gonna pay you. You do your job. We win championships. We both happy at the end of the day.
But that sounds so boring. It's like,
but at the end of the day, you gotta realize it's a business.
I understand, but you want to bring a personality to your business. This same thing.
Of course, a lot of the top players don't interact with the owner because you rarely see them. You rarely see them. Like Tom Brady only probably been to Robert Kraft's house once.
yeah.
Once, and you talking about Tom Brady, once.
True.
Like they don't interact for real. They
But
don't do that.
But no, we did. I feel like we did see some bad ownership, and right now that's the Knicks. The Knicks are a good team, but our ownership is gonna crumble the Knicks, dog. Like this is the best we've seen the Knicks in a long time. But every time you hear the Knicks, it's the ownership. Something went wrong. So hopefully they get that together. But they're gonna
Shout out to
man.
Tibbs though. Shout out to Coach Tibbs. He got him in the playoffs.
Yeah, got Randall looking good. Yeah, man. I ain't gonna lie, I thought that's the only team. But I thought that was the only team that get the Nets a problem. Was the Knicks already? Cause the Knicks are like unpredictable, so you just gotta go in there. Okay, how they gonna come out? So
it'll be fun to watch, man. I'm looking forward to NBA playoffs.
For sure. Everything getting serious now. But now I definitely feel like being an owner, you definitely gotta bring some type of pizzazz or personality to that team. Like, okay, I know you were saying how Tom Brady might never saw the owner, but the owner personality to the Patriots is plain. Like we're serious, we're business-like team. Then you go see an owner like Jerry Jones. It's Jerry world. It's like, yeah, okay, we did Dallas Cowboys. I mean, they're fun. It's Jerry world, man. They're all about the money. So I feel like what type of owner you is, your personality is gonna show through your team.
And I put it to you like this: Cowboys have been to the playoffs since '95.
Chill out, man. Don't go for Jerry Jones.
They haven't been to the playoffs since '95.
I mean, they haven't been to the Super Bowl since '95.
Okay.
They have been to the Super Bowl since '95.
Jerry came close, man. Jerry done came close a couple times.
They've been to the Super Bowl, and anyway, they've been to the playoffs, can't get it done. You look at the Robert Kraft and the Patriots. This the 1 year they didn't miss the playoffs for real.
Yeah.
But I don't think Jerry Jones is a bad owner now.
I don't.
So you feel
I don't like Jerry Jones because he's the owner of the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys. It's simple. I hate
How you
the
feel
Cowboys.
about Jerry Jones?
I like Jerry Jones. I just hate the Cowboys. I just hate the Cowboys.
He's a polarizing guy. You know, he's very polarizing. I think some players probably like his attitude, but I'm guessing a lot of other people don't like it. They just want to play. Right? As KD would say, I just want to hoop.
Yeah.
Right? And I think, I mean, that's what
So who's it done?
when you're winning, nobody really cares. But when you're losing, you're going to start pointing the fingers. And who's the easiest person to point the finger to? Jerry, because he's just outspoken. He's crazy. He's spending all this money, but they're still not winning.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
But they're not gonna point the fingers at Jerry Jones. They're gonna point it at the head coach because Jerry Jones is gonna point it at the head coach.
Which we just saw with
point the players.
What's the guy they just had who got fired? Garrett.
Jason Garrett.
Okay.
He was a scapegoat. Was Jason Garrett the problem? I don't know. But he got blamed for it.
He got blamed for it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's nothing going to be bigger than Jerry, obviously. But, Kraft, he's high profile, but he's quiet.
Quiet. Very quiet.
I think there's something to that. I don't know.
And some like going to the Patriots organization, some hate it.
Yeah.
I feel like some need to go to the Patriots organization. You know what I'm saying? To get that
structure.
Yeah. That like you do your job.
So the Patriot way does is this. So
it does. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so too. Because I think more and more players are coming out now as they're like moving on from other teams and saying like, yeah, when you practice as a Patriot, it's different.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
it's way more detailed.
I heard what Rob Gronkowski said it on the did y'all ever watch The Shop on HBO?
No.
Oh, I've heard of it. Yeah, I never checked it out.
Gronk says like he'll walk past Bill Belichick. They'll walk past each other without saying nothing throughout the whole day. Tom Brady the same way. They would not interact at all when they're in that when they're in that. Cause the man is up at like 5:30. He's there at 5:30. Tom Brady probably there at like 5:45, 6 o'clock. Like, bro, they discuss nothing but football. But outside, they're about to chat. But when you're in that organization, you're in that facility, it's nothing but football and winning.
Right.
That's it.
No.
Which is good and bad.
It's good and bad.
But they say too much of a good thing's a bad thing. So like it's good that he's so disciplined, Belichick, right? But is he so disciplined to the point where it's like this ain't even fun anymore?
The man is so disciplined. He wouldn't.
We're playing a sport,
he
right?
He don't want to be put in Madden. Like, come on.
Yeah, that's sure enough something Madden.
The man never been in Madden.
But you can also win with guys that are a lot more loose.
You can.
Right. So I mean, there's no
formula.
There's no one formula.
Who was a loose team? I want to say
Sean Payton when Breeze and them won it.
He's very loose.
He's very loose.
I was gonna say Baltimore.
Harbaugh's looser than Belichick.
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll's a great example. That guy's super loose. Like he's just like, hey, let's have fun, and it works.
And it works. Yeah, like for some organizations, it does work because it has to do with the higher ups, how he conducts his team, how he constructs his team. If the CEO and the owner is loose, the head coach, he's going to look for a loose personality in his head coach.
That's a good point. Yeah. It could work both ways.
It can work both ways. It depends your preference on if you're building the team and how you want to build the team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, man, thank y'all for coming through. I'm saying having a lot like I can't. Thank y'all for coming through, man. We have some good topics, man.
Definitely.
Like I said, man, as always, Liddy in the apartments. Todd, she's an OG. Zach, he came and sat down with us. He in the cut. I don't think I could see him. There you go. Man.
Chris was here for a while, too.
Yeah, Chris was here. Chris with a K. Like, comment, and subscribe, and turn that post notification.
Man, we were on the mic for a while.
Yeah. No cap.